The adoption and foster care system in the U.S. brings hope to children of having a loving family and a good home. It provides support to those left with nothing and gives them a new start in life. Or does it? After getting out of the system, 25% of foster kids will be homeless in 4 years, only half of them will be employed at age 24, and less than 3% of them will earn a college degree. They're even more likely to fall into bad situations, as 71% of young women from foster care will be pregnant by age 21. They're 10 times more likely to commit a crime and 5 times as likely to develop PTSD. But why is all this tragedy falling upon these children who have been through so much already? Because of the statutory neglect we place on making sure they are given friendly homes.
At any one time, there's about 400,000 kids in foster care. We need to do better to assess the needs of kids so we know, are we meeting their needs? Are we placing them in the right situation? Are they getting the right services to address the trauma they've experienced?
We interviewed Jason Waldort. He grew up in a group home where kids are placed before they go into foster care. We also talked with a couple of counselors who have dealt with foster kids firsthand during their day-to-day lives, as well as Stephen, a fellow student who grew up and is still currently in the foster care system.
In the foster care system, I tend to bounce around between house to house.
Average of the students that I worked with, that should have been with us from 9th through 12th grade, probably only stayed anywhere from 3 to 6 months, before they were moved to a different home.
That situation may be better. It could possibly be worse. Just because you're entering into a foster home doesn't mean it's a great situation, because you do have people out there that are not in foster care and into fostering students and children for the right reasons.
Not many people are doing it to help kids. They're doing it for the money that comes through it. They just wanted the cash to get out of the bums, and then once they got it, they let us go. So the more medical problems they have, is the more the more you benefit from it, because you don't only get the base pay for the kid. You get like allowance, food, clothing, things like that also come in with the cash for the kid every month.
And so there's this constant question of never really knowing, maybe even where you're going to sleep that night.
At the shelter down in San Diego underneath the freeway, the staff there didn't really care. They're just going through the motions. There's this one kid that got beaten up, got his head tied to the headboard, and nobody did anything about it.
Well, if you can imagine how kids are at that age, I mean, kids will be cruel. I can remember being hung upside down and beat with belts and thrown out windows and all kinds of stuff.
They snuck out, grabbed a whole bunch of sand and threw it all over my bed one night. For the first 3 houses I had were just total crap.
Students have come to me and talked to me about the foster parent being abusive, mostly emotionally.
In certain situations, had to have students removed from foster care and foster homes.
They use living conditions as mainly punishment, really. Or, they just get punishment in general for when they go into a terrible family.
If you think about it, you got 250 kids that have all been pulled from bad homes. So they all have attitudes, they all hate where they are, they hate life.
When you have a student who has that, either emotional or situational instability where who knows from day to day where they're going to be, oftentimes that expectation is just ridiculous.
A lot of demons, a lot of scars that they kind of have to get over. And when I say scars, I'm not meaning like because you fell and had to have stitches. Just emotional and just the scars that they're going to have to face and get over. And just there are definitely flaws in the system. There are flaws in every system.
Definitely, they need to make it more social, dealing with people more individually than they did.
I would say that you really have to take a look at who you're allowing to foster.
Yeah. Well, they need to find some way to deal, or find people that do care.
I think part of that has to be that they're loving and they're caring. But as long as you're meeting that shelter and the food and getting them to where they need to go and school and things like that, that's pretty much all that's required. But that emotional piece is missing.
I never got into a family situation. I was always in this children's home. So I didn't experience parental love, I guess. I just never experienced it. Didn't have it, so.
The bad reputation given to the foster care system can be fixed.
Every single child in this world both needs and deserves a permanent family to call their own.
I propose that the candidates of this year's election seek to correct this issue, as every child deserves to be given a good home.